Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, is inviting the wrath of Ajana by calling Ọdịnanị practitioners common criminals and calling for the destruction of shrines and the persecution of innocent practitioners of Ọdịnanị, while maintaining that they are idol worshippers and criminals. Now, with this, I would like to welcome you to another interesting episode of Voice of the Sun. Today, we'll be discussing the careless statement of the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, who said in a near event in December of 2022 that he's opening an all-out attack on people that practice Ọdịnanị as a faith, and that it is idol worshipping, and made some inciting statements. Now, it's a shame that in this age and time when the world is waking up to the lies of colonialism, that a professor is bold enough to call the religion, the spirituality of his ancestors evil. And he's bold enough to use government power to suppress the people's rights to freedom of religion. During a dedication of the House of Testimony, the House of Testimony Life of Faith Gospel Assembly in Onitsha, I think on the 6th of December or thereabout, the Governor Soludo, he called all churches in Anambra to fight against our people, Ndi Anambra, who practice Ọdịnanị as a faith, calling them common criminals and idol worshippers. He said that he was in solidarity with the Christians to fight the evil of idolatry in Anambra State. In his own words, he said, I'm going to quote him, so this is not me, this is what he said. He said, "Since the inception of my administration, we have declared war on criminals, their shrines, priests, and burnt down their idols. They can come with whatever they want to, but with the Bible in our right hand, we shall prevail." He went on to say, "Anambra is in the hands of God, but we must continue to pray to take back our state from criminals, touts, and lawlessness." He continued, "Idolatry is the fastest growing religion in the state. We must not take it for granted. Pope Francis preaches ecumenism. I just don't preach it, I try to live it. If we bond together, we will survive collectively. But if we go separately, we will die separately. This land is our own. We must not give up on it." These are the words of Governor Charles Soludo. And it is quite unfortunate. Yeah, it is quite unfortunate that a governor and a professor at that matter would be so uninformed as to the true meaning and goal of Ọdịnanị and Omenani as a form of spirituality for our people in Ndi. And it's very unfortunate that he's using his office to call Ọdịnanị idol worshipping and also group those who practice Ọdịnanị with criminals, which his government is going against. Just because he's a Catholic and was brainwashed by the missionaries and colonialists, to see the ways of his ancestors as evil. And now he's in power, he feels he can use the power of being a governor to suppress those of us who are not Christians, those of us who practice the spirituality and the religion of our ancestors. So, and this to me is the height of irresponsibility. On his path as a governor of a state that is not a Christian state, we must make it very clear to everyone that Anambra State is not a Christian state. Anambra State, just like every Nigeria, is a secular state where there's freedom of religion and freedom of thought and freedom of conscience. Right? So it's an insult to all of us who practice Ọdịnanị, as a means of connecting to the divine, just like our ancestors. Soludo he's insulting us, He's taking away our rights, and he's stepping on our fundamental human rights and our humanity as a whole. You know, by tagging Ọdịnanị as idol worshipping and calling us common criminals, or grouping us as common criminals with those who they have caught, you know, in various shrines. Soludo has invariably insulted Ajana, because sometimes when we speak of spirituality of our people often take it for granted because we just talk. But I must tell you that Ajana is the most potent deity in the Igbo cosmology, in the Igbo pantheon. And that's what Soludo has done, to call us idol worshippers and to group us with criminals. He has basically insulted one of our strongest deities, which is Ajana, which is the earth upon which he eats from and he places his feet. And he is going to face the spiritual consequences. Go and mark my word. Mark what I have said today. He will face the consequences either today or tomorrow. Now, let's go further to the Nigerian Constitution and how it clearly emphasizes the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Because sometimes when we speak, or when Christians speak, and when majority of Igbo people who are Christians, when they try to suppress Ọdịnanị as a religion, you know, when society tries to suppress religion, or when people try to use government power to suppress religion, they forget that the freedom of thought, conscience, and religion is embedded in the Nigerian Constitution. At least for now, we're still Nigerians. So yes, the Constitution to protect anyone who practices Ọdịnanị as a religion. Now, in Chapter 4, Section 38 of the Nigerian Constitution, it states in number 1 that every person shall be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, including freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or in private, to manifest and propagate his religion or belief in worship, teaching, practice, and observance. Now, this means that as a human entity existing as a Nigerian citizen or as an Igbo person, you have the right to change your religion from Christianity to Ọdịnanị, just like how many of us have moved from Christianity that our parents brought us up in and moved to Ọdịnanị, the religion of our ancestors. You have the right to change from one religion to the other. And you also have the right to express that religion, to practice that religion, to teach that religion, like I do here in Voice of the Sun. You know, you have the right to worship anywhere. You know, you have the right to come out and yes, you pour libations, you imanzunana, you know, imanzunana, iwoptoje, you know, ibusano, everything we do in Ọdịnanị, you know, Ichwaja, the killing of animal, the pouring of libation, everything we do in Ọdịnanị, you have a right to do it, enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. And as an Igbo person, you have a right, an ancestral right, to observe, to practice the religion. Religion is a small word for what we have as in Ọdịnanị. To practice the spirituality of our people in the Igbo. So this is what the Constitution says. And nobody has a right to term us criminals. Nobody has a right to say we are idol worshippers. It is a religion on its own, and it should be respected. Ọdịnanị should be respected. Now, let us go further. For the uninformed, even though they are professors or they are, no matter the height they've gotten to society, they still are uninformed and uneducated. Let us try to define what idolatry is. The idolatry, the word the governor used, that idolatry is rising, and that idolatry is whatever, common criminals. You know, ganged idolatry up, which is he's referring to Ọdịnanị, and then ganged it up with common criminals. Let's define what idolatry is. So, idolatry is the worship of idols, simple, or the extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. Get this right. Idolatry is the worship of idols, or the extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. According to the Christian Bible, from which Soludo gains the use of the word idolatry, it says that idolatry in Judaism and Christianity is the worship of someone or something other than God, as though it were God. So, and by these definitions, our governor Soludo, should understand that it is they, the Christians, that worship idols. By worshiping a Caucasian man, a white man, and call him God. When in actual fact, and according to Ndi Igbo, Chukwu bụ mmụọ, and no one has seen Chukwu. Nobody has seen the creator of the universe. You know, how our people agree. Now, by bowing down to the images of a white Jesus and a white Mary, and bowing down to pastors, you know, it is the Christians who are basically worshiping idols, because they now, remember I said, definition is when you hold reverence for something or someone, or when you love someone to the extent that it now, you know, it now replaces, or when you just love someone extremely. That is what idolatry is. Let's not, because sometimes when people take a word and make it look bad, make it look evil, they now use that word they've made to look evil, and slam on something else, which is this time around they've made idolatry, the word idolatry, look evil, and then use it to slam on our spirituality as Ndi Igbo. So now by bowing down to the images of Jesus and Mary, you know, and their pastors, like I said, it is the Christians themselves who are worshiping idols, by definition I just defined, right? By giving Chukwu, the supreme creator, by giving him the title of God and falsely characterizing God as a man. It is the Christians like Soludo, you know, who have made an idol for themselves and tried to impose that idol on the supreme creator. Chukwu, the great if you translate to English language, Chukwu, the creator of the universe, is not a man, is not a male, one, and is not a white male, second. And for this, to us Ndi Igbo, to us that practice Ọdịnanị, it is the Christians who have turned the creator into a white man sitting up there in the sky with white beards and has worshipped him, and they are the idol worshippers. Now, if I would go a little bit to explain, just let me give a brief explanation to why we Ndi Odinani do not worship idols. What we do when we call on Chukwu, whenever Onye Odinani, somebody who practices the Igbo spirituality, you know, or traditional religion, as you might call it, whenever that person picks up the kola nut, onzu, what you will hear is Chukwu bia manzu, Chukwu bia tuonzu. We start from the creator. Chukwu, nobody has seen Chukwu. Chukwu bia manzu. From Chi Uku, you come down to Chi, my own Chi bia manzu. You come down to Agu. You come down to Ndi Ichie. You come down to, and these are levels of energy. I will use let me use the word energy in English language, but these are levels of spiritual attainment for us Ndi Igbo, and all of this connects to Chukwu God. You don't see us come, and even when we call on an alose like Ngu, which is a tree, Ngu is an intrinsic part of Chukwu, because Chukwu, the creator, created everything. When we call on Ani, Ajana, bia wolunzu, bia manzu, bia woloji, Ajana is an intrinsic part of God. I will not say God, I will say Chukwu. Chukwu, the creator. When we call on Anyanwu, the sun, Anyanwu is an intrinsic part of the creator. When we call on Mmili Chim, where my chi is from, Mmili more, you know, is Mmili or is Oshim, whatever is Mmili, whatever it is, Mmili. Idem Mmili, what? the great rivers, the great sea, all of these are parts and parcel of Chukwu, the creator. So you see that we do not isolate the deities, aloses, the deities and the gods and the spirits that we commune with in Ọdịnanị. All of these spirits are parts of our experience of Chukwu, are parts of what connects us to Chukwu. When I call on the sun to come down, when I call on my chi, Nihu Anyanwụ, in front of the sun, I automatically connect through my chi, through the sun, to Chukwu, the creator, whom I have not seen. And for us, this is the purest form of worship, the purest form of connecting to divinity. And then you come and tell us that we are idol worshippers. You turn the word idolatry into a derogatory term and then slam it on us. Meanwhile, it is the Christians themselves who have made idols for themselves. So this basically is just a brief explanation of what Ọdịnanị is and why it is not idol worship. Now, what the governor has done is despicable. I do not expect maybe him or those around him or anyone who is a devout Catholic or a Christian like I once was to understand what I'm saying today, but I am calling for restraint. I'm calling for respect of people's rights to religion and spirituality. The governor should know this. He will be a governor for maybe 4 years, maybe 8 years, and then he will step aside. But he should not use his office to trample on the rights of our people, the ancient rights of our people. Yeah, there are people they are criminals who use charms in their operations, in kidnapping, in armed robbery. And these criminals are drawn from the church, because when you go into the church, that's where you meet most of the occultic men who use black magic and evil powers. You meet them in the church, So some of these criminals are drawn from all parts of society. And because they patronize certain, I wouldn't call them dibias, I would call them people who know how to manipulate nature, to do charms and all of that. Because these criminals patronize these people, and automatically, because of Nollywood and society, we now believe everyone who ties a red cloth, or everyone who holds nzu or keeps certain carving images practices Ọdịnanị and automatically is a dibia, and because of that they are all grouped as dibias and they are grouped as Ndi Odinani. It is not so. It is not so. These are not the true disciples of Ọdịnanị. Those who follow Nsọala. You cannot take what does not belong to you. You cannot lie. You cannot cheat someone. You cannot kill someone. These are the basic tenets of Ọdịnanị. Nsọala, which you can call like commandments, right? So this is what we practice in Ọdịnanị. And these people, these dibias who the armed robbers go to, don't represent us. Yeah, so like I said, they don't represent us. And the Governor Soludo has no right to use the fight against these criminals who use charms in kidnapping and armed robbery to then attack an entire faith, an entire way of Ndi, our ancestors, to say that we who practice Ọdịnanị in spirit and in truth are idol worshippers and common criminals. And he uses his office to he even boasts, that they have destroyed lots of shrines. And if you destroy the shrine of Oyenagwa, someone who operates in charms and aids criminals or kidnappers, fine and good. But to then go after criminals and those who make charms for them, and then now slam it on an entire faith, Ọdịnanị, and say it's idolatry and that it should be kicked out from the state. It is a wrongdoing. It is a hasty conclusion that even if many would not speak up, would eventually come back to hurt Professor Charles Soludo. So I call on him to retrace his steps, tender an apology, or say the right things so that he does not group us all and insult us and call us common criminals. This is where I come to the end of this particular episode at Voice of the Sun. If you, for wherever you find this video, please drop a comment, whether on Facebook or on Twitter or on YouTube. On YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and, you know, like this video so that others too can see it. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about what the governor has done or what he has been saying, and then what is the right way to go about it. How do we call his attention to his transgressions against us, Ndi Odinani? So yeah, I'll be expecting your comments, and that will be all for now till I see you on the next episode. I remain my humble self, Chuka Ndine Suku. Ndebanye, Kodena.